before the final week, which is going to be for the graduation ceremony and communicating the achievements. So we are still diving deep in topics in order to empower everyone who is attending level 3 to be able to start contributing meaningfully to the NIM ecosystem. Now, this is the builder track, and today we are going to get our hands dirty and show you how or what you can build on top of NIM. My name is Hux, and I have the pleasure to host CGI Bin, co-founder of NoTrustVerify, fresh from the Swiss Alps. Hey, CGI, thanks for joining. It's an utmost pleasure to have you here with me tonight.
Hey, X, thanks for having me. Looking forward to present how to build NIM on NIM.
Great. Could you just maybe quickly introduce yourself and NTV shortly for those who have not heard about it yet? Like, how long have you been around NIM and what have you accomplished maybe since?
Yeah, so we are, I think, one of the OG group of NIM. We are here from the testnet. And from there, we are managing multiple mix nodes, contributing to the community, building on NIM, building around NIM with some other tools like dashboard to show statistic, tools to get like if the NIM network is running, if it's running well, tools like PaceNIM that I'm going to show you later, how to enable people to use NIM without knowing they use NIM in behind. So yeah, it will be a very good introduction for those who want to build and to see how you can build on NIM and how easily it can be. So yeah.
Fantastic. Sounds like a gem. And by the way, for those who are looking where Sudo is, he's going to be joining us too, but he's still on another session, shipyard session with Serinko. So he's going to just join during your presentation, CGI. But without further ado, I would just like to give the floor to you. And if anyone has questions during your presentation, feel free to leave it in the chat. If it's relevant and can be answered quickly during the presentation, I'm going to just ask the question directly from you. If it's a longer question, we're going to have time at the end to answer all those questions which haven't been answered during the presentation. So with that, CGI, take it away. The floor is yours.
Thanks a lot. So building on NIM, yeah, NoTrustVerify, I'm going to go a little deep in this. So I think we are driven by experimentation, and that's why we decided to build on NIM, mostly because it's a new thing with a new approach, a new paradigm approach, like how to develop with privacy in mind. And NIM for now is the only one who allows this. We are going by NTV. You can see us on multiple chat on Discord, Matrix, and Telegram. We are from the French community too, which is a small but active one. If you're French, so come and join us. So why do you want, or why are we running an application on the mixnet? Because there is no metadata, or there is less metadata, and since we don't really care what people are going to send, we just want to enable people to share without having to ask, this data I'm going to share, are they used? How they will be used? Is there some people I'm going to censor it, and everything that we don't want to see. Explore, like I said, NIM, NoTrustVerify or NTV is driven by experimentation. So we can explore new way of development where we don't have to really care in a sense of how we want to build privacy, because privacy is embedded when you build in NIM. So you have a lot of abstraction that already here for you. And this is my third point. You can just focus on building your application, and then rely on the mixnet to have your application that have the privacy at the base. At the left, you can see one of the examples I'm going to show you later. So how, as a company or how, as an individual, you can easily implement NIM in your application. So stay with us. It's going to be soon. What NIM is doing good is like having a web stack. It's like you can build for browser, and then from there you can you can like build for one for all. So if you already have a React stack, Vue, Vite, or Next stack, you can easily develop on NIM and then build for smartphone, for Android, for PC, for I don't know, tablet, TV, and so on and so on. And yes, the web is your more and more, but you have to do some trade-off about how you want to enable the application, because since you don't have total control on the browser, you have to be careful on something to not leak the information. And on the right, another example I'm going to show you, far more extensive one. It's called PasteNIM. It enables you to share text and file. And yes, we are going to see how it's built in behind. And I'm going to share you my experience because I think it's what people are looking, and if they want to build, they need to know how difficult or how easy it. It's more easy than what we can think. Now going in the code. So if you're not a coder, stay here. It's very small example, and even if you don't understand, I'm going to explain it for everyone. So stay with us. Yeah, first it's the stack we are using, and I hope use very soon. We have decided to go with the paradigm KISS, keep it simple, stupid. So the backend is only Python, which is pretty good language to do fast thing, to develop fast, and NIM client just sitting aside. Everything is packaged by Docker, so which enable us to deploy faster the application. The front end is React and TS, the TypeScript SDK from NIM, which is in the new version. So it was interesting to build on the last SDK because I just see how the code was improved. It will be far more easier to build now than before. The other way you can do is like having your backend. If you know Rust, you can use Rust. There is a client, NIM client embedded in it. So this is going to save you sometimes when you send a message. For the front end, you can have Vite. It's another framework that we can use, and still the TS SDK, or you can go with Golang. We have an SDK for this if you want to go, but you still need like the Python to have a NIM client sit aside. I'm going to show later, just after the demo, I think, how it's working in behind, like the diagram and how the packets or message are going to in the mix. So MixFetch. If you're a web developer, you can go. You already know fetch. Fetch is like it's a command line, or it's a process. It's a function to go fetch and get some information. So the name is pretty easy to understand. And MixFetch is the same, but you are using the mixnet underlying fetch. So this is the standard fetch request. So you just have the URL. For now, I'm going to use the CoinGecko API. Basically, what it's going to do, it's just showing the price for some token. Next line, going to use to fetch the URL, fetch the data, and print the data in the console. So it's pretty easy, pretty fast. And you're going to see next slide that it's almost the same for me.
So wait, sorry, one question from me. So basically, the one slide before this is regular coding without the mixnet.
This is fetch. How every web developer are going to do a fetch.
And the next one is the exciting. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, the next one is not yet the exciting, but it's more the option, because since we are going to use the mixnet, you have to define some option, but it can only do once. And there is a lot of things that are optional, but basically you just need, it's what I'm proposing as option to enable application running on the web browser for everyone. And then, as you can see, the MixFetch is almost the same as we had before. So the API ConGecko URL to get the tickers price are the same. The response is almost the same, but you're not calling fetch, but you're not calling fetch, but MixFetch. With the URL, so the CoinGecko, the arguments, it's like the option we defined, and some MixFetch option if you have some. But it's possible that you decided to go without. And then we store the payload, and as again we show it in the console, in the web console. And so to show you side by side, there is just two differences. It's the await MixFetch that is waiting the data, and the await fetch. So we can see it's pretty easy to enable standard web application speaking NIM mixnet. I'm going to do a demo, but later.
Before you do, we have a question. A super good explanation, by the way. I mean, at least I can follow, which for not being a coder, that's a good sign. So we have a question from Papu Powder, which I think relates to the slide before, like to the MixFetch slide, which is like RTX or no RTX. Can you decipher this question?
What is RTX?
Yeah, okay. Papu, can you be a bit more verbose with your question? Because I also
I'm not sure,
don't know.
because there is a lot of things that can be RTX. It's like GPU, it's like ray tracing, it's like...
Okay, so we ask some more information and then maybe get back to the question.
Yeah, I'm checking the... Hi, Sudo.
Hey,
Hello,
Sudo.
guys. Sorry for being late.
It's fine. Yeah, so Papu, if you can give us more information, I can decide. But if I have to choose now, I'm going to for the RTX, not for the no RTX. We'll see. So demo time will be later. I'm going to show everything at once to explain it directly in the code. Mixnet client. So this is, for me, one of the best things that have NIM2 is that you can enable client to speak NIM natively. So basically with the MixFetch, you're still asking a web server in the standard web we know as now. And with the MixFetch, you're staying in the MixNet. So nobody can see what's happening outside the MixNet, and nobody can know you're a dog on the MixNet, and even if you're human, the MixNet or an animal. MixNet, why you want to use the NIM MixNet and not the MixFetch? Mostly it depends on what you want to build. If you have a standard application, web application, you mostly want to go on the MixFetch because it can enable very fast the use of the MixNet. But if you're going to try a new application and develop a new thing, you can go with the MixNet client, who will enable the true and potential of the MixNet. With the abstraction that NIM developed, you will have a very fast and respectful service, privacy respectful services. One of the two good things is like the peer-to-peer communication. You will not have to open a port or expose a server on the internet. It just will be the peer-to-peer communication between you and the server or the service. And the SERVs, which are for me one of the greatest invention or development of NIM. SERV is like sending a letter to someone without knowing who, which is for a service provider very important, because what I care about is just you to receive the packet, but I don't need to know where you are and if you're coming back like 10 times in a row or just once. So basically serves, and it's very easy to implement them. It's just one line to add. Quick reminder, but it's not interesting. It's the name mixnet, how it works. Basically, if someone watching after, it can be interesting to go to. Connection to the mixnet. So this is the front-end part. So this is what the client will see when he starts the client. The first 2 lines or 3 lines, the left self-address and name client, are just to start the name client or to create the object name client that you will need. And then we are going to start the name client. Just 3 information there. The client ID, it can be just a randomized UUID, not secret, but random. The preferred gateway. Preferred gateway is important if you want to build an application like Pastename and publish it on the internet. Because in behind, what is happening is that you're going to use WebSocket, and WebSocket are only compatible with HTTPS website when they are protected. But basically, it can be enabled later or everything. And then you have to force the TLS, which is how you're going to do it. The send, this is only what you need. It's the only name client.client.send, the message where you want to send the message, and the recipient. So it's only one command or only one function that can enable you to send message on the mixnet, which is for me pretty interesting. You don't have to, I don't know, start multiple threads, multiple applications, building your message, parse it correctly. You just need to use your message to have it, to send it, and then the application in behind will handle it. The receive is a little bit more, having more lines, but it's not very difficult to understand if you already dev something. It's like the events. So events is if you don't have to like check if a message is received every time, every second. You just wait for one event to come and say, hi, I have a message for you. Here's the message. And then you can print it on the interface of the user. There is more events that you can use, but these are the 3, by far the 3 you will need. So it's subscribe to connected. It's going to, when you're connected to the mixnet, it's going to send you a message to say to you, it's okay, now you're connected. Here's the address you have, because it's a name client in behind. And you will need it to receive some message. You can go, I'm ready to speak mixnet. Subscribe to loaded is just to be sure that the name client is loaded in behind and ready to start, to stop, and so on and so on. The subscribe to text message, sorry, I'm just going to drink a little bit.
No worries, keep hydrated. You're doing great.
The subscribe to text message received event is the most important one, because it's how you're going to be able to show the message that the user received. To go a little bit deeper in the code, there is more things to do if you really want to enable name to work with a React application, but by far it's easy, since name has a lot of abstraction, and it's pretty much what you will have to do is just to follow the sdk.nametech.net. That is very well explained. The serves, as I explained just before, the exports the NIM client row send is like I show you before the .send message. It's just sending a message, a text message. So you cannot send the image, you cannot send, I don't know, music, you cannot send, everything is binary, you cannot send them. So you have to use the row send message, which is pretty easy to use. So you just have the payload, just need to be encoded. It's a standard function that GS have, and you have to encode the message. Then the recipient, where you want to send the message, and the reply SERPs. I'm not going to deep dive in the SERPs, but basically the service provider will not see your addresses, but he will just see how to send you back the answer. And the 20 is the number of SERPs you need. But since NIM developers are the most amazing people in the world, even if you don't have any SERPs left, it will ask you, it will automatically ask the service provider, or the service provider will ask automatically to send you, to ask you for some SERP. So basically test without the SERPs, and then when your application is ready to go live and you have an end, implement the SERPs, and you will see it's like, it's almost the same code. If you want to deep dive a little bit on our code, the front end, you can find it on our GitHub, which is NoTrustVerify/paste in front end. The command line interface, yeah, it can seem scary, but it's pretty easy. It's in Golang too. So it's just to show how you can build a clear application, because when you dev in browser, you still have to trust the code that you're running is the real code that it has been shown on GitHub. By enabling people using CLI or native application on the computer, you will be able to trust and not only verify, or don't trust verify is the motto of here in the command line interface. And the backend, it's like the service provider, how it's working in behind. I decided to not show you the backend right now, but feel free to correct me. But I think if I have still time after the 2 demo, I'm going to do a little deep dive in the backend, just
Sounds
to show
fantastic.
you if you
Yeah,
decided to not go. And there is the SDK. Maybe someone can put it in the chat. SDK.nimtech.net is a very good resources website that you can use. And Konstantin Litvin, no, there is no Python library to interact with NIM directly. But since it's WebSocket, it can be pretty easily enabled in a way that you just have to listen message. But I hope NIM will develop some more SDK for other language. But the Rust one is, I think, not the difficult one to use. But yeah, you just have to go with Rust. But the SDK is very good in Rust too. And I think it's done for this side. So the presentation is done. It was just a fast track for this, just to show you how easy it is to develop on the mixnet. So from my perspective and from my experiences, it's not so different. Basically, if you already have an application running on the webs, on the HTTP, you can very easily do a privacy respectful solution. And if you want to dev a new application, think if you want to use the mixnet before. So demo time. Yeah.
And thank you for the amazing slides. That's super good.
Yeah, thanks to Nim to do the best one. So here are the 2 examples I wanted to show you. I'm going to refresh the page completely. So basically, it's just a web page. So yeah, as you can see, you're just going there on NoTrustVerify GitHub.io. It could be, I don't know, any other URL, mixfetch.example/example, or any other things that you wanted to implement. And there you can see that I'm showing you ticker price. There is there is the information that you can have. Yes, the browser I'm using is Firefox, but the application can run on every other browser. I didn't have any trouble with any other things. Yes, I can make the text a little bit bigger. I hope this, yeah. So this is not very interesting because it's just price, and we know that 1 Bitcoin is always 1 Bitcoin, so we don't really care. But what I want to show you is more what happened in behind. So here you have the Rust module loaded. So NIM built with WASM, which is a compilation target for browser or for anything else, but which is compatible with browser. So you're using the same code as the NIM client that you can run. So there is the go init, location, proxy, and then here we can see, here we can see the setup MixFetch, so the information we saw before, the preferred gateway, the network requester we are using, and the gateway we are using. So this is just telling us that, yes, you're going to use the real one, starting the MixFetch client. So in behind, there is something, there is a Mix client, a NIM client running, loading cryptographic key, because if you're aware of the NIM client, because you're following the shipyard this long, you know that NIM using cryptography to cipher, to encrypt the data you're going to send. And there we can see something very interesting is this. The WebSocket, as you see, is a secure one. If your gateway doesn't have the WebSocket, you can enable it very easily, or you can just use one who already has WebSocket enabled. And then so on, we see that we start, and there we can see the request we are sending to the mixnet, and going through the mixnet, going to CoinGecko API and going back, and then we see that we receive the answer that was shown here. There is some other things that if you need to debug, or any other information that you will need if there is some error, here you see what the NIM client is showing to you. Next demo is PasteNIM. It's it's like Pastebin. You can just share text and file and everything, every other thing you wanted to share. So you just type in your message, hi from the mixnet, and then you have multiple options. Everything will be behind in the mixnet, but these are just nice options. You can like burn after reading, expire, public paste, or you can store an IPFS. Basically, why is good to use our service to store things on IPFS is that it's not your computer that's going to do the IPFS registration or upload. It's us, but we cannot know what you're going and who's going to want to store information in it. And then I could attach a file, and I'm just clicking on send. It can take it's very easy and very fast. And there you can see that we have a text link. So I'm going to copy paste it if I can, yeah, and then just paste it there. I'm going to connect on the service provider, I have this client ID. So it means if someone wants to contact me on the mixnet, you have to use this information and the gateway I'm using. And then you can see I'm using IPFS and hi from the mixnet. But basically what happened in the backend is just sending messages, so attempting to send anonymously because I'm using the slopes. So the backend doesn't really know who am I, if it's like the first time I came in this website, if I just copy paste like I did before. And I think I can show you some code, or if Ux, you have some question, maybe. Yes,
Yeah.
so
You're explaining super good, so I don't really have questions, but maybe there's one question. Do you see the questions?
Yeah, I see the question. So I got really like when I open pasted. Yeah, Papu, you have to clear your cache browser for this. Yes, you just have to clear this. And is IPFS version less privacy privileged? So it's the same IPFS version, but you're not the one who's going to using the mixnet to upload your file. So IPFS gateway that's going to store your file doesn't know who you are and from where you send the file. So it's more preserving to use this, but you cannot upload everything you want. And for Konstantin, I'm just going to show you how it works in behind. Like we have this. I can open in a new tab. Yeah. So basically, this is the architecture we have for pastename. I hope this explanation will be good, because it's how it will work if you decide to go live with an application using the mixnet.
I think if you zoom in on a bit more, that's maybe more helpful. Yeah. I think now it's good. Thank you.
Yeah. So we have there the website we are in. It's pastename.ch. We have you, the browser, and the name client who runs in the browser. Then when I click on send, it's going out to the name client, to the gateway I choose. So it's the EBT8 I decided to go with, to the mixnet. So mixnode, 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 3 hops, and every hops will remove what they need. And from there, we have the pastename servers with the database, with the Python code we have, the name client just sit aside, and the gateway who will receive the message that you send us. Everything is end-to-end encrypted, so we just storing the data you send to us, but we don't have any access to what you want to send to us, and so on and so on. We have two detailed articles that explain how it works behind the curtains. So this one, and if you want to build an application, you have a pretty good example by Amadeus, another NoTrustVerify colleague. And just to show you how easy it is to build an application on NIM from the backend side, it's a lot of code, but let me just find. Basically, it's just this function that you will need to be able to receive the message to start. And this is what you will need to do to be able to receive and decode message from the mixnet. So in my opinion, it's pretty easy to develop, even if you don't want to use Rust, which I can totally understand that nobody wants to use Rust right now. And yes, Konstantin, so am I correct that your app communicating with gateway through requester So yes, it depends. Let me just show you this application. So the MixFetch, yes, it's using network requester because you're going on the internet, on the normal web. But this one is not using network requester because you're staying in the mixnet and because you're just using the NIM client. So it depends. In my opinion, and it's only mine, this one is better because you're staying in the mixnet and it's a native application. It's a NIM native application. This one is not, but it's still better than the standard application we could have, and it can help web developers to use the mixnet and offer self-traversing application on the mixnet without changing all the code. It's done. Thanks for attending to this.
It was fantastic. Thanks for explaining all this, and I think it was the right depth of code and explanation. Can I just maybe ask one thing until our audience maybe have more questions? That if it's as simple as to build like web applications through the name MixNet, what would be some applications that you sort of have on mind as like an ideal list to inspire the audience? You know, what would be easy, or like not super easy, but easy to build, and it's not done yet? Or do you have any random ideas what you can share with our audience here regarding that?
Yeah, I think it's, for now, I don't have any application in mind, but it's more like the fields of application that the MixNet will be very powerful. Is like chat application or message-based or transaction-based application, like having a wallet that talks NIM natively will be, in my opinion, the best things ever that we can have, because it's everything. It talks NIM to a node that talks that are talking NIM. So in my opinion, this is the things. And then, yeah, maybe later, but it's mostly web browsing, web application like chat or email or something else. And if I can just share something, we try to do an Oster NIM porting or adaptation, but it was not very a success. So maybe later. But for now, I don't see an Oster on the MixNet yet.
Can you summarize the biggest challenges with that project?
Yeah, it's more the data you send to the MixNet. If it's big file or a lot of message that you want to send, like when you're typing, you cannot type like one message per second. You're going to go like 2 or 3 message per minute or 40 seconds, but you cannot send a lot of message to the MixNet. But if you're a human, but if you're not like on Nostr or on other streaming or something, you're going to send a lot of data, and then NIM will have some struggle to send it through.
Hux stole my question. I actually wanted to ask about the Nostr NIM integration, but then all I'm going to ask is whether we should remove your screen, Sven, or CGI, or we're still showing things.
No, as you want. You can stop it if you need.
Okay, wait a second. Let me.
Or maybe leave the screen on for other questions. I don't know.
Okay.
No, he can just go and show stuff. There's another question from Papu. Other than near Alephium projects you want to see integrated with NIM?
I think Bitcoin. We try to do a POC. Yeah, we try to do a POC with Bitcoin and with the network requester, which work pretty well, but it's not real peer-to-peer connection because you're still relying on someone that on the network requester. But yeah, Bitcoin for me, it would be one of the best. Simple X2, which is a messaging application. Like, yeah, it's a messaging application, and it should be nice. Signal for sure. That I'm sure that it happens sometimes, but yeah, it will be nice. Telegram, email. I want to be able to send my email to me.
So there's a ton of opportunities for developers to start creating proof of concepts and prototypes that use
Yes.
NIM. Yeah.
Yeah. And if someone wanted to try again to implement Nostr with NIM, we have the full stack ready for the backend. So if you want to go there, just send me a DM and I'm going to answer you directly. So yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and thoughts and insights. I think it was a brilliant presentation. So do you have some questions for CGI still, or is there anyone in the audience who have more questions?
I don't see any audience questions. Maybe beyond Bitcoin, of course, which makes sense. We would all like to see Bitcoin over the mixnet. But what else are you guys working on? Because for context, guys, I'm not sure who in the audience has been around for quite some time in the NIM community, but these guys, NoTrustVerify, are some of our earliest contributors. They have been around since basically the get-go of NIM, I think it's fair to say. So I'm just curious to see such OGs, you know, where in what direction are you taking your group?
Yeah, so basically we want to go further with PaceNIM. We want to enable the ZK NIM to help people to buy I don't know, the thing is that we are looking for ZK NIM and then exploring this part and helping people to use ZK NIM without even be aware that they're using ZK NIM. Like, I don't know, paying in PaceNIM, like you want to share a big text with thousands of characters. We are going to ask you to pay a little bit so you can pay with the NIM tokens, just as a POC. Or we are still in the education phase. So it's like we have our blog or the medium of NoTrustVerify, where we are showing application like the last one, but was just 5 days ago. So we are going to continue with this. The SMS for SATs, we have a plenty of other applications that we show how to use the mixnet within, and with the VPN. I hope and I think there will be a lot of video to do or other tutorial to do how to use the mixnet in the best things, in the best ways to go. How long? Yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah, there's two questions. Yeah, from Papu and Eric. So, are you already working on ZK NIM? Is this documentation available for it already? And can you share the PaceNIM source code on GitHub?
So yes, we are not working on ZK NIM right now. We are waiting on NIM site for now. But for what we see and for what we expect, it will be a total game changer for everyone. Even if you don't understand ZK NIM or ZK like me, I don't really understand what it's about, but it will be a game changer for even for the normal user. How long since NTV node are running? I think it's more than a year. Let me just check if I can show you something. So yeah, these are the dashboard, and this is something that is going to interest you more than how much time you're running, but it should be more than a year. This is the evolution of the mixnet through like 1 year. It will be loading. Do you have a GitHub to view this code? If you mean the PaceNIM code, everything is on our GitHub. It's NoTrustVerify on GitHub. How much time required to start simple building on NIM from almost zero? not copy paste some, but building own apps. It all depends on if you're starting. If you don't know how to code, it will be difficult, but it will be an interesting challenge because you're going to build an application with privacy in mind, which is for me a pain point in the development field right now. Everybody use external library, everybody use Google, everybody use, I don't know, to go a little bit further, Okta to the authentication, and then everything using third-party application to dev them. So yeah, if it's base name, I think it's something like 3 or 4 days to have the MVP. So just being able to copy paste and send message. And the application that you have now, which is not the best one, but it's me who code this, so I'm not a web developer. It took like, I think if you have time, it's a week and less if you have experience. So yeah, abstraction on MIM is very good.
Thank you for those answers and for showing the dashboard too. That's pretty dope. I always like to look at it.
Yeah, so you can see the evolution of how the mixnet is, the total number of mix nodes. As you can see that we are pretty stable. So, and it's jumping a little bit at the end by number of countries, number of continents, number of organizations. So the company where they run, the RS. If you are in the network field, you will love this. If you're not, you can still try to understand it, but it's very interesting to see how it's
What's AS mean? Sorry, I'm not in the network field yet. That much.
Not yet.
Not yet that much.
And yeah, you can see the stack saturation, how it evolves, the portfolio budget, and so on and so on.
Fantastic. Thanks again. On my end, I have no more further questions, nor our audience. I mean, you gave so good answers for all the questions, so I think we also run out there. Is there anything else you would like to highlight or add or summarize in a sentence for people who've been maybe haven't joined from the beginning, or just like a summary of thoughts, or should we just move on to the closing?
Yeah, I think I can just end like by saying if you want to build on MIM, it's like you will have privacy application in a minute running pretty fast and pretty good with good experience with it. So build on MIM, and I think there is an hackathon soon, so join the hackathon. So
it's already up and running basically. And yes, there's a hackathon. Yeah. So thanks a lot again. It was super good. Amazing stuff, as always. And Sudha, do you want to take us through the closing sounds of yours, or should I chime in the secret word, what we agreed on?
I'm happy to. I feel a bit awkward for joining late, guys. We got to do something about these back-to-back.
You are.
We can start again if you want. We can start from the beginning. You have the presentation.
That's for
so welcome from the. Yeah.
So welcome everyone to this workshop by CGI Bin from NoTrustVerify. No, we're just kidding. We're not going to do it over again. We're going to probably do something about this back-to-back thing. Maybe put like a buffer of 10-15 minutes in between the talks because it's kind of tight, and I want to be there, especially when such a good friend as CGI is presenting. Excellent presentation from what I saw. Unfortunately, I joined late. Also, I guess it was mentioned a lot during the presentation, but I particularly like the secret phrase that CGI selected. So let's go through the finishing sounds. So the secret phrase for today is MixFetch, which you can use to claim the POAP for this event. As always, there is a POAP for this workshop, and CGI selected this one. Can you give us some context why? Although I guess you talked quite a bit about it, no?
Yes.
We can't hear you now. Yes, as on he talked a lot about it, why he selected MixFetch. It was a short reply, no?
Yeah, it was. Yes.
Okay, I didn't catch the reply, sorry.
Don't worry. So yeah, and
Anyway, so
I have go on.
No. I'm not gonna butcher MixFetch. Although this, I'm proud to understand a little bit what it is, but you know, it's a very dev focused thing. But overall, the process is the same, which you're already used to. You can go to the nimtech.net/go/POAP site. A link to it will be shared in the chat. Go there and enter MixFetch with the same spelling, so capital M, capital F, all in the same word. Huge thanks for CGI for coming on, also for Hux for taking the host role on such short notice. Do you have any closing remarks, folks?
Yes, I just want to thank you for the shipyard. I participated in the first one. It was very, very huge, but this one is hugeness. So it's very interesting. It's a huge step forward, and yeah. So congratulations, guys. I know the time you take for this, and yes. So from all the NTV team, congratulations for this, and congratulations soon for the NIM VPN that the team is building. Looking forward for
exactly.
this.
Thank you so much.
For that. Big thanks for that. It means the world. Also, this thanks is extended to Hux as well, who has been co-designing it with us quite closely. So a huge thanks for coming on, and also the kind words, much appreciated. And with that, folks, tomorrow is going to be mostly dedicated to the visionary track, the third one. So Hux, do you want to say a few words about what's happening tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow is the moment that everybody's been waiting for. We're gonna publish and present the squad selection process and kind of how we imagine the upcoming weeks with squads who apply. We're gonna also hopefully open the application link tomorrow. So there's coming a blog post which will be translated to different languages, and also make sure to attend our session, which is in the regular time with Nicola, where we're gonna personally walk through everyone through the whole process, answer all the questions what's been boiling. And it's no mistake that these questions have been boiling, because I think it's good to boil a little bit on these questions and sort of let the creative potential unleash before we tell the requirements and sort of what exactly we're looking for. But that moment is tomorrow, so looking forward and hope that many of you will join.
Yeah, so until then, once again, big thanks for CGI for coming on and giving this excellent workshop. Also for you, Hux, for the hosting. Not so much for myself because I was late. But anyways, catch you guys tomorrow. Have a lovely evening, day, or whatever it is in your region, and see you all very soon. Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you guys. Have a good day. Ciao.